What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we are on the PBE checking out the newest champion coming to League of Legends in just a couple of weeks. As you can see here on the screen, this is Samira. She is a marksman. She's going to be a bot lane primarily. Her kit and abilities and stuff is pretty crazy. She might be a mid laner. She might play top a little bit, but Riot has said she's going to be balanced around the bot lane. So be expecting her to be the new exciting crazy AD carry. She's going to be absolutely broken. She's going to be busted. And her kit looks really fun and really exciting. In this video today, we're going to be breaking down all of her abilities, what rune page, what build, all that kind of stuff that you guys want to be running, all that stuff. So you have all the information to start carrying games right away once Samira actually hits the live servers. Again, she'll be coming out in about 2 weeks. But yeah, this video is going to be kind of an all-inclusive guide on her abilities, build, everything, all that kind of breakdown. So definitely stick around to the very end to get all the information. So again, you can start climbing up the ranks, gaining LP fast as soon as she hits the servers. So here we go. We're going to pretty much start out by just reading through all of her abilities just so we know what we're dealing with, what's going on, and then we'll start breaking everything down. So first up, Samira's passive is called Daredevil Impulse. Samira builds a combo by dealing damage with either attacks or abilities against enemy champions unique from the previous one. Each one increases her style from E to S, 6 total, and Samira gains attack movement speed per grade. Samira's attacks in melee range deal an additional amount of magic damage increased up to a certain amount based on the target's missing health, and then Samira's attacks against enemies affected by immobilizing effects will dash her to her attack range, not her auto attack range, her attack range, and apply knock up to them for half a second. So first up, we can see what that looks like a little bit. As you can see, now we have the little E over here, and if we keep attacking this guy, as long as we use different abilities, we're going to start to gain different rank all the way up to S. So we got to let that time out for a second. It's just kind of run. So you can see here, we can attack once, we can get to E. If we keep attacking, we're going to stay at E until we use a different ability. Our Q is going to get us up to D, and then our auto attack is going to get us back up to C. So you just have to keep alternating between either different spells or auto attacks and spells. That's how you're going to keep gaining style for Samira. It's kind of an interesting, unique thing. Obviously, that's what her kind of quirk or whatever is as a champion. Next up, we have Samira's Q, which is just called Flare. Samira is going to fire a shot, dealing physical damage to the first enemy hit. If this ability is cast towards an enemy in melee range, Samira will instead slash with her sword, dealing physical damage as well. So here we go. Here is her Q from range. It's going to hit, and then you can see if we are in a melee range. You have to actually click on the guy. There you can see her little slash. I don't know, for some reason I thought that since I was just on top of it, it's still gonna go. Here we go. This is where her Q looks like from melee range. You see that big cone. It's actually pretty massive sized cone. Next up, we have her W, Blade Whirl. Samira slashes around her for 1 second, damaging enemies twice for physical damage each, and destroying any enemy missiles that enter the area. That one's crazy. That's how you can block CC. I know in the video they showed like you can block TF Gold Card, you can block Zeroth E. You can just block any CC that comes at you. You can just press your W and then you just don't get stunned, which is really crazy. It is a massive cooldown, 30 seconds at level 1 with no CDR. But yeah, that's obviously a huge ability for an AD carry type champion to have. I thought I had auto refresh cooldowns on. That was a problem earlier in the video. So then you can see you just kind of spin around. It's literally instant, right on click, and that's how that goes. Alright, next up we have Samira's E, which is called Wild Rush. Samira dashes through an enemy or an ally, which is pretty crazy. Slashing enemies she passes through, dealing magic damage and gaining 30% attack speed for 3 seconds. Enemy champion takedowns refresh the cooldown. It has a reset, which is really insane, especially on an AD carry type champion. And that's what makes me think that Samira is going to be this really exciting, really interesting, really high pick rate, high ban rate, like frustrating to play against, but super fun to play as champion, because she's gonna be dashing all over the place. We can see what this ability looks like. You see, you just get this really long range dash, and it gets you far away too, which is pretty crazy. And then also the fact that you can dash through allies is pretty insane too. So you're just super mobile, especially as like an AD carry. You do have not super long attack range. I believe, I want to say it's like Sivir attack range, but being able to dash all over definitely like sets you apart from somebody like Sivir. Next up, her final ability, which is her ultimate Inferno Trigger. Samira can only use this ability if she's at style rating S. Samira unleashes a torrent of shots from her weapons, wildly shooting all enemies surrounding her 10 times over 2 seconds. Each shot deals physical damage and applies lifesteal. Each shot can also critically strike, which is just absolutely insane. So we'll take a look and see what this looks like. We got to use some abilities, obviously, to stack up our style a little bit. Once we get to style S, then we can ult, and that's what that looks like. You just kind of start spinning around in circles, shooting everybody. It does a ton of damage, heals you up a ton. And that really is kind of the crazy part of Samira's kit too. I mean, she has a ton going on. She has an absolutely overloaded kit. The fact that you can dash around and block CC with your W, that's crazy. You get like, you know, a free dash. Like if they have CC, you get to dash to dodge it. It's a targeted dash, so it's not just like complete. You know, it's not like Lucian or Ezreal or anything. Not that level of safety. But you can get really, really aggressive dodging abilities. And then even if you don't have a dash, if you aren't able to dash an ability, you can just press W too. Like, you're so safe. This Q, honestly, again, it's not super long range, but it's pretty decent range. And then with this ult, since it applies lifesteal and stuff, plus you have Conquer, plus you can take like Ravenous Hunter, you can take Bloodline, you can take so many abilities to keep healing. Like, you can get kind of pseudo, not tanky, but you'll have a ton of survivability, especially for an AD carry, which is pretty crazy. So as far as the runes, this page that I started out with is the one I think is the most interesting. Conquer with Overheal, Legend Bloodline, Coup de Grace. And then I went with Transcendence and Gathering Storm secondary. But again, I think you can go Domination secondary with Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter as well if you want to get even more healing. But with Conquer and Overheal and Bloodline already, you're going to have a ton of healing. You're going to kind of be okay as far as healing. So I don't think you necessarily need it. Transcendence and Gathering Storm really good for the CDR and obviously being able to scale up and stuff. You could also, I mean, there's definitely some other stuff in Sorcery you could take. There's some other stuff in Domination you could take. You have a ton of options. It definitely seems like Conquer is going to be the best on her. Again, as far as position, she's going to be an AD carry. They want her to be a bot laner. They said if she plays top a little bit, if she's okay in mid, that's fine. Because her kit's pretty crazy. I could see her definitely being a mid laner. But Riot said they will balance her as an AD carry. And if it's not her primary position, they'll make changes to her to fit her into the bot lane. So definitely be looking out for that. As far as the builds, I've heard of a couple different things. I think there are some interesting ways to go. What I think is the best, and probably the most standard thing that I've heard of, is going Essence Reaver first into Berserker Greaves. I think that's going to be a really, really standard first two items. I think that is really solid. I think Infinity Edge is going to be really good on her. Bloodthirster is going to be really good on her as well. I think you can't really go wrong with those items. Those are going to be really expensive, so you are going to want to look for some other items as well, obviously. You have different options. She's not super good with attack speed. She doesn't really need attack speed or want attack speed, so that's where you got to kind of get creative a little bit. I know some people are even just straight up rushing Bloodthirster. And I think that can be decent. I've also heard, which is pretty interesting, people going with like a Mana Moon and trying to scale up with her a little bit, playing her something like an Ezreal or like a Kai'Sa used to. I think that could be interesting too, but again, that's going to feel a little bit worse early and you're going to kind of have to scale up a little bit, but that could be decent. In the end, I think Essence Reaver is definitely going to be the most standard and best first item on her. And that's definitely the way I would lean towards. Berserker Greaves are going to be really, really good. I like Bloodthirster, and then Death's Dance is also going to be a really insane item on her since you get so much healing and stuff. So that's what I'd like to see. Again, this is still very, very early on PBE. Her kit could change. Her just base numbers and everything could change. So it's going to be hard to tell what the best rune page, what the best build or anything is going to be. And she's only been out for a couple of days, so people haven't necessarily even got to try everything out yet. But for sure, her kit is insane. It's very, very fun. It's going to be a kit that is very, very popular and gets a ton of people playing it. So she's frustrating to play against. Whatever, you're going to have to deal with her. But yeah, definitely try her out. She looks exciting. If you get a chance, play her on PBE. If you don't, hopefully this video has prepared you for at least playing against her on the live servers, if not being ready to play as her on the live servers, understanding your kit, understanding your abilities, all of that great stuff. Because I just want you guys to be ready once you finally hit the live server so you're able to gain as much LP as you can and start climbing up the ranks. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about Samira? Are you going to try out on PBE? Are you going to try on live servers? Whatever. Definitely subscribe, save down on the latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.